Okay, good morning, boys and girls. Wednesday, May 6, 2020, starting with a happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Continuing with our animals. Today's book by Numeroff is If You Give a Cat a Cupcake. Wednesday, May 6, 2020. Continuing with animals and our Numeroff book for today. Mrs. Sheppard in room 137. Miss Thompson working behind the scenes for us. A couple of musical instruments. Oh, this one moved a little bit. A couple of musical instruments in honor of Mrs. Carter. Ooh, that one was kind of loud. And let's do this one. Of course, if we were in class, I would let you come up to the smartboard and pick. But since you're watching from home, Mrs. Sheppard will just have to do the picking. Animals, and more animals. We all love animals. And as we're talking about animals, we're getting in a little of our science for today. We've been talking about different types of animals. We talked about 7 different groups of animals. Your animal song that we finally listened to yesterday is in your shared reading packet. It was also in your shared reading packet from last week, so you can be illustrating that at home. Today, instead of Mrs. Sheppard going over mammals, because we've done that several times, and I know you already have that stuck in your brain, we're going to go right into a second listen of our animal song. This is a good time for you to stand up, move around, sing, dance, get some of those wiggles out.
Meow, meow, meow. Kids these days are addicted to screen time. But
sorry about that little ad. Up, moving around. Let me hear you singing from home. Using your shared reading poem. This is when we work on our fluency. Starting with mammals.
Mammals have lungs that breathe the air. Warm-blooded bodies that have fur or hair. Mammals give birth to their living young. Mothers give milk to their daughters and sons. Dogs say roof, cats say meow, cows say moo, humans say wow, monkeys say horses say elephants say dolphins say click, 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 move like a mammal, move like a mammal,
Move like a mammal. Move like a mammal. Now
dance
dance.
like a mammal,
Dance like a mammal.
dance like a mammal,
Dance like a mammal. Moving to birds.
Birds have beaks, but they don't have any teeth. Flying high in the sky, and they can walk on 2 feet. Birds lay eggs and are warm-blooded creatures. They have backbones and they are covered with feathers.
Birds say.
Tweet, tweet,
Birds say.
tweet, tweet, birds say. Tweet, tweet, birds say. Tweet, tweet, birds say.
Tweet, tweet.
birds say. Tweet, tweet, birds say. Tweet, tweet, birds say. Tweet, tweet.
Move like a bird.
Move like a bird. Move like a bird. Move like a bird.
Now dance.
Like a bird. Dance like a bird. Dance like a bird. Dance like a bird.
Fish have fins.
And are covered with scales.
They swim in the water and breathe with their gills.
Fish skeletons are made of cartilage or bones. They live in fresh water, salt water, oceans, and ponds.
Fish say.
Fish say. Fish say. Fish say. Fish say. Whoosh, whoosh. Fish say. Whoosh, whoosh.
Fish say.
Whoosh, whoosh. Fish say.
like a fish.
Move like a fish.
Move like a fish.
Move like a fish.
Now dance.
Like a fish.
Dance.
Like a fish.
Dance.
Like a fish. Dance like a fish.
Reptiles use their lungs to breathe.
They have claws on their feet and use the sun for heat. Reptiles have scales and lay eggs on the land.
They are cold-blooded
Animals
with no sweat glands.
snake face. Snake face. Snake face. Snake face. Alligator face. Jump, jump.
Alligator say.
Jump, jump. Alligator face.
Chomp, chomp.
Alligator face. Jump, jump.
Move like a snake.
Move like a snake. Move like a snake. Move like a snake.
Now dance like a snake. Sorry, like a turtle. Dance like a turtle.
Dance like a turtle.
Amphibians live.
On the land and in the water, their babies have gills, but metamorphosis takes over. Their skin is moist and they don't have scales. Salamanders
Can't grow back. Their arms, legs, and tails.
frogs say. Ribbit, ribbit.
Frogs say.
Ribbit, ribbit. Frogs say. Ribbit, ribbit.
Frogs say.
Ribbit, ribbit.
Toads say. Toads say. Toads say.
Toads say. Jump like a frog.
Jump.
Like a frog. Jump like a frog. Jump like a frog. Now dance like a frog. Dance like a frog. Dance like a frog. Dance like a frog.
Insects have an exoskeleton. They have a head, a thorax, and an abdomen.
Most have wings,
But they
all have 6 legs.
have two
Antenna
and they
lay a lot of eggs. Bees say. Bees say. Bees say. Bees say. Crickets say.
chirp, chirp,
Crickets say.
chirp, chirp,
Crickets say.
chirp, chirp,
Crickets say.
chirp, chirp.
Move like a bug.
Move like a bug.
Move like a bug.
Move like a bug. Now dance.
Like a bug.
Dance.
Like a bug.
Dance.
Like a bug.
Dance.
Like a bug.
You see all our different groups of animals except for arachnids. Mammals, bird, fish, reptiles, amphibians, insects. Okay, thank you for being such good listeners at home. That's our second time that we've listened to that all the way through. That's a little bit long. It goes right along with your shared reading poem that's in your packet. We're talking about animals with our books in the Laura Numeroff series. We're going to continue with animals when we move to our next set of books. Laura Numeroff, and more Laura Numeroff. Just show me the Laura Numeroff. And that's a photo of Laura Numeroff. We're going to skip the song for today since we did our animals song video, and that was a little bit long. Let's go back and talk about the books that we've already read in the series. And remember, after we finish our last Laura Numeroff book, I'm going to ask you to tell me which was your favorite. So be thinking about that as we continue our books in the series. Book 1 was If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. Next, If You Give a Moose a Muffin. After that, If You Give a Pig a Pancake. Also, If You Take a Mouse to the Movies. Then, if you take a mouse to school. In addition, if you give a pig a party. I hope you heard my transition words or transition phrases that we like to use in our writing. And for today, we're going to be reading If You Give a Cat a Cupcake. Ben, a few days ago, in his letter that he wrote to me for writing time, he wrote about a cat, so I couldn't help but think about him as I was planning this lesson. So Ben Flynn, I know you love cats, and I know many of you other first graders love cats as well. So let's go right to our If You Give a Cat a Cupcake. And I know I'm making you hungry because we lots of times have cupcakes at school when we have somebody who is celebrating a birthday. So today, if you give a cat a cupcake. Title, If You Give a Cat a Cupcake. Author, Laura Numeroff. Illustrator, Felicia Bond. Genre, fiction. Genre, fantasy. Author's purpose, to entertain. Take a good look at that book jacket, because as we move to my rocking chair, I don't have a really good book jacket for If You Give a Cat a Cupcake. This is a book that I did not have in my classroom library, and somebody actually donated it to me, but it was missing the pretty book jacket that you see up on the smart board. So, as we're reading today, I want you to be thinking about full circle, circular endings, which is Arthur's craft for Laura Numeroff. That's a technique that she likes to use in her writing. I want you to think about making predictions. Good readers are always thinking and making predictions as they read. I want you to be thinking about who the protagonist is going to be. And remember, as readers, the protagonist is our main character that most of the story revolves around. I want you to be thinking about sequence of events, putting our events in the correct order. I also want you to be thinking about something that's a little tricky for first grade, but I wanted to go ahead and introduce you to it. Cause and effect. Cause is when something happens. Effect is the result that comes after that event happens. Our first book in the series, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, the cookie was the cause. The mouse is going to ask for a glass of milk. The glass of milk was the effect. Yesterday's book, If You Give a Pig a pancake. Oh, I'm jumping back. Sorry. Fruit Looping. If You Give a Pig a Party was yesterday's book. The party would be the cause. The pig is going to ask for some balloons. The balloons would be the effect. So as we start, if you give a cat a cupcake, be thinking about the cause and the effect. I need your wide eyes, big ears. I need you to do some extra good listening. And I'm going to go straight into my story for today, skipping the book jacket and all that so we can move a little bit faster. Oh, Ben Flynn, I see that cat and it makes me think about what you wrote to me just a few days ago. If you give a cat a cupcake. Cupcakes make me hungry, and I notice the wind is blowing because that curtain is swaying gently in the background. If you give a cat a cupcake, he'll ask for some sprinkles to go with it. Most kids, when they have a cupcake, love it if the cupcake has sprinkles. When you give him the sprinkles, of course, he's shaking on his own sprinkles. He might spill some on the floor. Like if I gave you sprinkles in the classroom and let you do the shaking, you would probably spill some on the floor. And then Elijah, you know what you would have to do get my little broom and help me clean them up. Cleaning up will make him hot, so you'll give him a bathing suit and take him to the beach. Text to self, Mrs. Sheppard loves going to the beach. It's probably my favorite place to go if I had a choice. He'll want to go in the water. Most of you text to self as soon as you get to the beach. Most of you probably want to go in the water. And build a sand castle too. Then he'll look for seashells. So he'll go in the water, build a sand castle, and look for seashells. My Henry and Mudge Forever Sea group, I'm noticing the sand castle has towers and moats just like from Henry and Mudge and the Forever Sea. That would be a text-to-text connection. He'll find a few other things as well. Oh my goodness, look at all those things he found. He'll put them in his pail and try to pick it up, but it'll be too heavy because his pail is so full. Text to self, I have pails up on my shelf, but instead of calling them pails, I call them buckets. A pail is another word for a bucket. He'll decide, because his bucket is too heavy, he needs to work out at the gym. First, transition word, he'll warm up on the treadmill. Treadmill is one of those machines that you can walk on or run on. Then he'll lift a weight or two. He might even try a karate class. After the gym, he'll want to go to the park. When you get there, he'll see the rocks. The rocks make me think of city because most days when we go out on the playground, City and Lawson are usually looking for and collecting rocks. He'll climb as high as he can go. At the top, he'll see the lake. He'll want you to take him rowing. I see two little rowboats. He'll be the captain, and you'll have to row. Now, on a boat, the captain is the person that tells the other people on the boat what they need to do. So the book says the cat will be the captain, and the little girl is the one that's having to do the rowing. Then he'll notice the merry-go-round. Remember, they're at the park, and want to go for a ride. I love to ride on the merry-go-round. He'll want you to go for a ride too. You'll choose the horse with the purple mane, and he'll get on the wheel. When you get on a merry-go-round, also called a carousel, you get to pick which animal you want to ride on. So the little girl is on the horse with the purple mane. The cat is on the whale. The whale will remind him of the Science Museum. He'll ask you to take him there. First, transition word, he'll find the dinosaurs. That makes me think of my Dinosaurs Before Dark group, text to text. Then, transition word, he'll visit the Hall of Apes. Love the way those apes are hanging on and climbing from those trees. When the museum closes, you'll be the last to leave. If you're the last to leave, I'm inferring they're having a really good time. On the way home, you'll pass by the beach. You'll help him gather all of his things. Then he'll want to race you. All the things they used at the beach. When you get home, he'll empty the sand from his shoes. If you go to the beach, you put your shoes back on, you're going to have a little sand in your shoes. He might spill some on the floor. Seeing the sand on the floor will remind him of the, guess what? What do you predict the sand's going to remind him of? Will remind him of the sprinkles. He'll probably ask you for some. And chances are, predict what's going to happen. If you give him some sprinkles, what do you think he's going to want? He'll want a cupcake to go with them. Now I noticed this book, Arthur's Craft, techniques that authors use. Laura Numeroff likes to have books that have the full circle, circular endings. We started with a cupcake and we ended with a cupcake. That would be a technique that Laura Numeroff, as a writer, likes to use. Now let me move my camera back to my smartboard as we move right into Ms. Sheppard's teaching points, making sure I tap on the correct slide. I think it was yesterday that I went up instead of down and I got on the wrong slide for the day. Teaching points, we just talked about full circle, circular ending. We started with a cupcake. We went all the way around and our book ended with a cupcake. We said that is a technique that Laura Numeroff likes to use in her writing. And when writers have certain techniques that they like to use, we say sometimes that is an author's craft or an author's style of writing. Our protagonist today, our main character, was a cat, thinking about Ben Flynn, and a cat, thinking about animals, is a mammal. I asked you as I was reading to make some predictions, telling me what you would think would happen next, and we're going to go right into our flow map, which is going to show our sequence of events in the correct order. And as we're doing our flow map, I also want you to be thinking about cause and effect. Cause is what happens, effect is the result. And as we get started with our flow map, I'm starting with a cupcake, moving to sprinkles. The cupcake is going to be the cause, and then the effect is going to be the sprinkles, the result. And then after the sprinkles, we saw that the sprinkles will spill, which will make the cat need to clean up, like Elijah helps me clean up with my little broom and dustpan. And we know cleaning up will make him hot. Moving around. When he gets hot, he's going to want to put on a bathing suit for the beach. And then when the cat and the little girl get to the beach, as most kids would, they're going to play in the water. They build a sandcastle. They collected seashells, remembering my sandcastle had towers and moats like my Henry and Mudge in the Forever Sea text-to-text connection. When he tries to pick up the heavy pail, because after he collected seashells, he collected many other things, the pail is going to be so heavy that he's going to say, I need to work on my muscles. I need to work out at the gym. Some of you, since we've been doing school at home, have been writing to me that you're doing lots of exercising. I know Wells has been doing lots of exercising, and I know Lawson has been doing lots of exercising. And when he gets ready to work out at the gym, he's going to get on the treadmill, lift weights, and even do a little karate. As they're leaving the gym, he's going to want to go to the park, climb rocks and row in the lake. And then after that, they're going to want to go on the I wrote merry-to-round. Let me self-correct. That should be merry-go-round. And the little girl is going to go on the horse with the purple mane. And the cat is going to ride the whale. Forgot my arrow. After the merry-go-round, I wrote merry-to-round again, guys. Fruit looping. I know Jonathan's laughing at me right now saying Fruit Loop Miss Sheppard. After the merry-go-round, they're going to want to go to the Science Museum to see the dinosaurs and the Hall of Apes. On the way, after they're leaving the dinosaurs, the Science Museum, the Hall of Apes, on the way home, they're going to pass the beach, gather up all their things. As they race home, and the cat empties out his shoes, some sand is going to spill on the floor. And the sand is going to remind him of Sprinkles. Sprinkles will make him want a cupcake. And once again, that is a full circle, a circular ending. Eliza, tell me what a full circular ending means. I'm listening. I know you were a good listener. Yes, Eliza, it means our book started with a cupcake and our book ended with a cupcake. And that is our flow map codebug for if you give a cat a cupcake. Spencer, thank you for being such a good listener. Now we're going to work back and we're going to go ahead and get in our video clip. On the clip, you should be able to see the illustrations a little bit better from home. So let's go right into our video clip. Almost thought it was going to glitch, but it's working.
If you give a cat a cupcake, he'll ask for some sprinkles to go with it. Cleaning up will make him hot, so you'll give him a bathing suit. And take him to the beach. He'll want to go in the water. And build a castle too. Then he'll look for seashells. Find a few other things as well. He'll put them in his pail and try to pick it up, but it'll be too heavy. He'll decide he needs to work out at the gym. First, he'll warm up on the treadmill. Then he'll lift a weight or two. He might even try karate class. After the gym, he'll want to go to the park. When you get there, he'll see the rocks, and he'll climb as high as he can go. At the top, he'll see the lake. He'll want you to take him rowing. He'll be the captain, and you'll have to row. Then he'll notice the merry-go-round and want to go for a ride. You'll choose the horse with the purple mane, and he'll get on the whale. The whale will remind him of the Science Museum. He'll ask you to take him there. First, he'll find the dinosaurs. Then he'll visit the Hall of Apes. When the museum closes, you'll be the last to leave. On the way home, you'll pass by the beach. You'll help him gather all of his things. When you get home, he'll empty the sand from his shoes. He might spill some on the floor. Seeing the sand on the floor will remind him of the sprinkles. He'll probably ask you for some. And chances are, you give him some sprinkles, he'll want a cupcake to go with them.
Okay, first graders, thank you for being such good listeners at home. Now we're going to be wrapping up because we have been doing the, if you take a books for a couple of weeks now, you know what your assignment today is going to be. You're either going to listen to Ms. Sheppard reread the book, you're going to rewind the video, or you're going to rewatch the video clip. Then I need for you to go back through your flow map with your sequence of events. You don't have to write a thing. Just go back and read through the sequence of events. And after that, go ahead and take your AR test on if you give a cat a cupcake. And this is going to be a good stopping point for today. I am missing you more each day. My Mia, Coda, Elijah Lawson, Eliza Spencer, Damian Jonathan, City, Wells, and Ben. And Damian, I just remembered on the carpet, you tell me sometimes that your dad likes to lift weights at home, just like the cat went to the gym and lifted some weights in our book today. So I miss you so much. I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday. Thank you for working so hard at home, and I'll see you a little bit later for our math lesson for today. Have a great, great Wednesday. Hope it's not too wacky.